They say the body always speaks last. Mine didn't whisper. It screamed. 1 minute, I was standing in the office finishing yet another project for people who'd already gone home. The next, the floor tilted and everything went black. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital room that smelled like bleach and betrayal. Machines beeped beside me like they were counting down my mistakes. The nurse told me they'd called my emergency contact, my parents, but no one showed. 3 days, 3. And then, when they finally wheeled in my phone, I made the mistake of turning it on. The first thing I saw wasn't a missed call, it was a notification. You've been tagged in a photo. I tapped it open, and there it was. My family. All smiles, matching t-shirts, picnic by the lake. The caption? Family day. No drama this time. That line hurt more than the IV in my arm. I stared at that post for a long time, didn't cry, didn't text, just watched the likes climb, each heart a nail in something I used to believe was unbreakable. That's when it hit me. My family didn't skip the hospital. They replaced me. Before all this, I thought burnout was just part of being reliable. At EcoGrid Technologies, deadlines never slept, and neither did I. My coworkers used to joke that I ran on caffeine and guilt. I wasn't ambitious. I was just scared. Scared that if I stopped being useful, I'd stop being loved. See, in my family, love had a receipt. My dad, Mark Harlow, used to run a small construction company. Lost it after the housing crash. For years, he called it temporary. 11 years later, still unemployed, still calling it a rough patch. My mom, Janet, was the emotional accountant of the house. She didn't track money, she tracked favors. Every time I paid a bill or covered a loan, she said, "We'll make it up to you, sweetheart." They never did. Then there was Brielle, my older sister, self-proclaimed entrepreneur. Every month it was a new brand. Skincare, essential oils, self-love journals, you name it. She'd launch, fail, and slide into my DMs. "Just need a little help this time, sis. You're the only one I can count on." And Eli, the youngest, still in art school, still finding himself. His version of peacekeeping was staying quiet while borrowing my credit card. From the outside, we were the American dream. Family photos, group hugs, perfect smiles. Online, Brielle called us the Harlows. Proof that love always wins. She posted that right after I paid their overdue property taxes. My grandfather, Walter, was the only one who ever told me the truth. Retired CPA, sharp as a blade. He used to say, "Kid, you can't audit affection, but you'll know when the math stops adding up." I laughed back then. I'm not laughing now. He told me once, "They see you as the safety net, not the daughter." I didn't believe him. Because back then, I thought loyalty could fix anything. So I kept fixing. The night I collapsed, I'd been working 14 hours straight. The lights in the office buzzed like they were mocking me. I remember rubbing my chest thinking, I just need air. Then my phone lit up. Text from Brielle. "Rent's due. Can you cover it? Promise I'll pay you back next week." I typed, "I can't." Deleted it. Typed again. "Sure." That was the last message I sent before my body clocked out for good. When I woke up, everything felt sterile, like the world had been wiped clean of me. The doctor said, "Cardiac fatigue from stress." Fatigue. Like I'd just taken a long jog instead of a long fall. They said I was lucky. I didn't feel lucky. I felt disposable. By the time I opened my phone and saw that Family Day post, something in me broke. And this time, it stayed broken. I didn't reply. I didn't reach out. I just watched. For the first time in my life, I didn't move toward the fire. I let it burn. 4 days later, my phone buzzed nonstop. 74 missed calls. 1 text from Dad. "We need you. Call back." Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "We're sorry. Just, we need you." That was the day I realized something dangerous. They only remember me when I'm useful. So I didn't call. I called Grandpa instead. He picked up on the second ring. Didn't say hello. Just said, They finally drained you dry, huh? I laughed, half pain, half relief. Guess so. Grandpa showed up 40 minutes later wearing his old leather jacket and that face that never gave away too much. He didn't hug me. He never was the hugging type. But he sat down beside my bed and said, "Let's look at the numbers." We went through everything. My accounts, automatic transfers, recurring payments. My stomach twisted as the list grew. Electric bill for their house, car insurance for Mom, Venmo to Brielle, college fund to Eli, all under my name. "How did I let this happen?" I whispered. "You didn't let it happen," he said. "You funded it. Because you thought love was the same as loyalty. It's not." That night, under hospital lights, we made a spreadsheet. My freedom plan. "Tomorrow," he said, "you start cutting cords." By noon the next day, I called the bank, canceled every auto transfer, stopped every leak. Each click felt like oxygen. By evening, the calls started again. "Mom, we didn't know you were in the hospital. Why didn't you tell us?" Brielle, "You're being dramatic. I just needed help, not attitude." Eli, "Can we talk? Please don't lump me in with them." I didn't answer. Grandpa read his paper like it was just another Tuesday. Then he looked up and said, "You feeling guilty yet?" "A little." "Good. That's the down payment for peace." A week later, I was back at my apartment. It felt smaller, quieter, honest. Then the next message came from Dad. "You're about to ruin everything we built. You better fix this." Everything we built. I actually laughed out loud. They hadn't built anything. I had. They just signed the checks I paid for. That night, Grandpa came over again with a stack of papers. "They're filing something stupid," he said, sliding an envelope across the table. It was an emergency petition for conservatorship. They were trying to take legal control of my finances, claiming I wasn't mentally stable. I felt my pulse climb. "They really did this?" He nodded. "Same trick they tried on your uncle back in 2009. Didn't work then either." Lucky for me, Grandpa had already helped me move everything under a trust. The bank accounts, apartment lease, even my work insurance, all under my name alone. When their lawyer called mine, it was already too late. Their case died before it was born. That night, Brielle posted a new video. Her face puffy, tears streaking her makeup. She said, "Mental illness doesn't always look like what you expect. We're just trying to help my sister before it's too late." And just like that, hashtag #PrayForLena started trending. The comments poured in, strangers sending prayers, influencers reposting her video with captions like, "Protect your peace, not your pride." I almost laughed again. Then the internet did what it always does. It found receipts. Someone stitched her crying video next to that "Family Day, no drama" post. The comments flipped overnight. Where was that energy when she was in the hospital? You wanted her money, not her health. Screenshots surfaced. Brielle's brand deals, Mom's Facebook comments, Dad's shady brokerage reviews. The empire of lies fell in real time. By Friday, their social media accounts went dark. Grandpa handed me his mug of coffee. "Didn't even have to lift a finger," he said. "The truth handled itself." But they weren't done. Saturday morning, a courier dropped off another envelope. Handwritten letter from Dad. Inside, a new will. "In the event of my death, all assets go to the family who remains united. Lena is disinherited until she reconciles." I actually laughed. It wasn't about love anymore. It was about control. Even from the grave, he wanted the last word. I showed it to Grandpa. He smirked. "They still think you're playing the same game. They just don't realize you left the board." So I wrote my final message, through my attorney, not my phone. Short, precise, final. I waive all rights to the estate. I request permanent no contact. I signed it, sealed it, and handed it to Grandpa. He nodded. "You sure?" "Yeah," I said, meaning completely. 2 weeks later, we packed what little mattered, one suitcase, my laptop, a few photos, and drove west. Grandpa said he wanted to see the ocean again before winter. I didn't argue. I just watched the highway blur by, the world finally quiet. We ended up in a cabin outside Mendocino. Ocean mist in the morning, wind at night, no noise, no fake love, no pity, just space to exist. I started working remotely. Fewer hours, fewer expectations. My mornings began with black coffee and silence. My nights ended with peace. Sometimes old friends reached out. "Hey, what really happened with your family?" I never replied, because my story wasn't for them anymore. It was for me. One morning, Grandpa was reading the paper by the window. He looked up and said, "You did it." "Did what?" I asked. "You broke the cycle." I smiled. "Yeah, it only cost everything." He chuckled. "Cheap price for a clean slate." Now, when I think about that hospital room, those machines, that post, it doesn't hurt anymore. It just reminds me who I used to be. I used to believe silence meant surrender. Now I know silence can mean peace. They still try to reach me sometimes, through old friends, cousins, social media, but I don't respond. Some stories don't need sequels. They just need to end. If you've ever been called selfish for finally putting yourself first, remember this. Choosing peace isn't betrayal, it's survival. They can keep their filters, their pity, their version of the truth. I'll keep my stillness, my laughter, my life. Because sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is stop saving the people who drown you